Hello everyone. So welcome back to Kalam IAS Academy, and we are starting with the current age, that is for the 2025 prelims. In the last session I had already explained you about the current age program. So in this you will be getting the compilation of all these things, that is the newspaper, Yojana, Press Information Bureau and other kinds of materials, and we are starting with the workshop number 1, right? Just keep it. So the workshop number 1 we are starting, and that is on the basis of workbook number 1. In the workbook number 1 you are getting, that is the current affairs booklet, that is from the April 2024 and that is from the January and the February 2024. So that we are going to discuss. Along with that we are also going to solve the question. So those of you who have already enrolled in the session, so I hope कि आपको ये सारा बुकलेट मिल गया होगा, that is जो January 2024 and the February 2024 वाला बुकलेट. On the basis of that booklet we are going to discuss the issues there. So starting with this, please have a look at this. So the first session and the first topic, that is the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. Have you heard about this? Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. Why this Legal Service Committee are being made? Is there any constitutional provisions? So you will remember that there is article number 39A. So the article number 39A, it talks about what? It talks about free legal aid. Free legal aid to the poor, right? Why do you require this free legal aid? You require this free legal aid because there are so many poor population in our country, vulnerable population in our country, for example scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, industrial workmen and other kinds of people as well. So they are not able to afford the cost which is there inside the judiciary, right? Therefore, if free legal aid will not be provided, they will not be getting the justice, right? And our preamble ensures justice, that is the social, economic and political kind of justice. But if the people, the poor people in our country will not be getting the justice, so that will going beyond the principles of our constitution, right? We have to protect every person. Therefore, this free legal aid concept is there. So article 39A of the Constitution of India, which talks about that the state should promote the free legal aid in our country, means free legal aid should be provided by the state and that in the state should be the facilitated in that mission, right? So on this concept of free legal aid, one act has come, that is the Legal Service Authority Act, and under this Legal Service Authority Act various kinds of authority have been made. One very important, that is the NALSA. NALSA is National Legal Service Authority, right? And similarly at the various level, for example at the national level there is NALSA, similarly at the state level there is State Legal Service Authority, at the district level there is District Legal Service Committee, similarly at the Supreme Court level also there is Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. So what this committee will be doing, by now you must have understood that they will try to provide the legal service to those persons in the Supreme Court who are not able to afford the court fee as well as the fee of those legal practitioners, advocates, right? So for them to have a good kind of justice, this Supreme Court Legal Service Committee is being made. This was in the news because the Chief Justice of India had nominated Justice Suryakant as the new chairperson of the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee, right? So this is the in the news. It is very unlikely that the UPSC will be asking about this news. Now, when this news has come up, so what is now more important? The more important point is now you should be knowing about the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. You should also be knowing about what NALSA and also the free legal aid, also what the Article 39A. This is important. This is the linkages of current affairs in your preparation. And if you are not doing that, if you are not preparing like this, you are going to miss the questions in the UPSC Prelims 2025. So we will be discussing in that fashion. So it was established through the Legal Service Authority Act 1997. It aims to provide the legal service to the weaker section and at the national level. Now, composition of this State Legal Service Committee. Regarding the NALSA, you will feel that the Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice of India is the patron in chief. That is, it is headed by the NALSA is being headed by the Chief Justice of India and other members which are nominated by the Chief Justice of India. So that is there, and it works at the national level, and it has more responsibility. That is, that it lays down the policies and principles for the legal service. It frames schemes and disburses funds. So all these kinds of things is being done at the national level. Holistically, this is being done, and this is in the hierarchical structure. Means at the national level there is NALSA, at the state level there is State Legal Service Authority, at the district level there is district level committee. But the question comes that what is the constitution and what is the composition of Legal Service Committee? So the composition is there will be a chairman, and this chairman will be the sitting Supreme Court judge. Now, who will be this sitting Supreme Court judge? Because there are 33 Supreme Court judges, right? So that person will be nominated by the Chief Justice of India, right? So Chief Justice of India will nominate one person, that is who will be the sitting Supreme Court judge, and that will be heading the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. Then there will be another members, around 9 members will be there, and these 9 members are also nominated by the Chief Justice of India itself. Similarly, at the secretary level, so secretary is also nominated by the Chief Justice of India itself. Now, you will feel that this is a secretary, right? So it should have been nominated, or it should have been appointed by the government. But why the state level committee, sorry, Supreme Court Legal Service Committee secretary is being appointed by the Chief Justice of India? So that is for the most important thing, that is for what? Separation of power. For to have the separation of power. Therefore, this thing is there, right? So Chief Justice of India will be appointing this secretary. So what is this function? So it also comes under the Legal Service Authority Act only, and it is chaired by the Supreme Court judge and all these kinds of things. So those person who will be eligible, right? Not everyone will be getting the free legal aid, but those person who will be eligible, they will be getting the free legal aid under this, right? Under the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee, right? Now, on the basis of this knowledge, please try to solve this question. You will be getting 1 minute of time. Please try to solve. You can also comment, and when if you are commenting, then comment with question number 1, your answer, right? So please read this and please comment. So let's read the question now. With reference to the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee, consider the following statements. The Supreme Court Legal Service Committee was established under the Legal Service Authority Act 1997. So that is correct statement, because it has been established under section 3A of the Legal Service Authority Act. So this is correct. Then the committee is headed by the Chief Justice of India as a patron chief. So is it correct? The Chief Justice of India as a patron in chief. Let's see another statement. It operates at the national level and focuses on the providing legal services in case of heard in the High Court. No, this is a Supreme Court. So this statement is wrong. And the committee is responsible for laying down the policies, framing schemes and disbursing the funds for the legal services. Just now we have seen that this is the responsibility of NALSA, not for the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. The NALSA has the bigger responsibility, and under which they prepare these kinds of policies, they frame these kinds of schemes, they disperse these kinds of legal services and all these kinds of things. So that is there. So this statement will also be wrong. So in general, there will be only two statements, and this patron in chief, this statement is correct. So see, the chairman will be the one sitting judges of the Supreme Court, but beyond that, the patron in chief means the who is means controlling everything, right? Ultimately, it is the who is appointing the chairman, Chief Justice of India. So therefore, the patron in chief is the Chief Justice of India. So two statement is here is correct. So B will be the answer. Now coming to the second topic. The second topic, it talks about the no right to residence for the foreigners under the Constitution. Delhi High Court has said. So as a citizen of India, do you have the right to residence? What do you think? Do you have the right to residence? As a citizen of India, you will say that yes, I have the right to residence. How? Because that is written inside the fundamental right itself, isn't it? So Article 19, 1, under this you have the right to residence, and more specifically you have the right to residence in under Article 19 1E, because under Article 19 you have the 6 kinds of provisions like the right to freedom of speech and expression, then right to assemble peacefully, right to movement, right to residence, right to have profession. So these kinds of rights are there inside the Article 19. Therefore, the citizen of India has the right to residence inside the country. That is a fundamental right provided to you. But the question is whether the foreigners also has this right to residence under Article 19. So if you read the text of Article 19, then Article 19 says that this is only for the citizen, right? This is only for the citizen. So the foreigners does not have the right to residence in general in our country. Though we are a tolerant country and we are allowing different kinds of foreigners, so from any country the people can come, they can live for some time, right? So visa on arrival is also there. So several kinds of provisions are there. We have been a assimilative culture, but the foreigners do not have such kinds of fundamental rights or right to residence. It will not be that some people from the Pakistan, some people from the Bangladesh will come inside the country and they will say that we have the fundamental right, we have the right to residence. And this is what the Delhi High Court has also said. So this issue raised because Delhi High Court recently said that foreigners cannot claim the right to residence and settle in India under Article 19 1E of the Constitution, leaving their fundamental rights to protection of the right to life and personal liberty. So whenever this Article 14, Article 19, Article 21 is coming, so these three articles are taken together and looked at. So when the cases come from the Article 19, then definitely the reference of Article 21 is taken. So just because there is Article 21, and you must be knowing that the Article 21 is for the citizen as well as the foreigners both, right? So Article 21 allows for there should be the right to life and personal liberty, that is there, Article 21, and under that the people may correlate that if they have to live, right, if they have the right to life and personal liberty, that means that also includes the right to residence. They will be living somewhere, but that is not there, right? That our right to residence is there in the Article 19 1E, and that is not for the foreigners. So Article 1920 will not be covering. Therefore, what will be there? At any given point of time, the government of India can deport any such illegal immigrants, right? They will not be having the right to residence in our country. So this was a habeas corpus petition was dismissed on the foreigners, and now this point is important. What the court has observed. The court has observed that the foreigners lack right to reside or settle under the Article 1920 that we have discussed, and the government power to expel foreigners absolute and unlimited. So the central government of India have the ultimate power to expel any foreigners, means they can throw any foreigner from inside the country to outside, right? So that is the absolute power they are having. So this is there, and no constitutional provisions is restraining the discretion to this explain, and there is nothing written inside the Constitution of India which is restricting the central government that they will not be throwing out the illegal immigrants from our country, right? So this was all are the provisions under this news. Let's see this question. So take 1 minute of time and please read the question and answer it. Okay. So with reference to the right to residence for the foreigners under the Indian Constitution, consider the following statements. The government's power to expel foreigners is absolute and unlimited. This we have seen that obviously the government's power to expel the foreigners is absolute and unlimited. There is no restriction as such, and there is no constitutional provisions that limits the government's discretion in expelling these foreigners, right? So this is also correct. So both the statement is correct, but you have to ask, you have been asked incorrect statements. So neither one nor two will be the answer. Coming to the third topic. Now this topic, that was the rules for allocation of the symbols to the registered unrecognized political parties. Now first understand that what is this recognized party, what is this unrecognized parties. So within election, right, in election, whether it is from the Lok Sabha, whether it is for the state legislative assembly, so the parties do register with whom? With the Election Commission of India. It is the responsibility of the Election Commission of India under Article 324. They have the power that they can register the political parties, but the process of registration is not there in Article 324. That is not written in inside the Constitution of India. That has been written in the Representation of Peoples Act 1951. So there will be two kinds of party. First, so there will be party, and this party will be of two kinds. So there will be registered party and there will be the unregistered party. These two parties will be there. In the registered party, there will be two kinds. That will be the recognized types, recognized, and there will be unrecognized. Okay. Then among the recognized, there will be what? National party, and there will be state party. So there are different criteria to declare a party, a national party or the state party. Who is declaring this? Who is telling that? Election Commission of India, right? So the issue is about registered unrecognized political party, means registered unrecognized political party. It is talking about this, right? Because those party which have been registered and which have been recognized as the national party or the state party, so they get a permanent symbol, right? You must have seen that the BJP has this lotus and this Congress has its hand as the symbol. So these are permanent in nature. Continuously they are having same. It will not be that in 18 Lok Sabha BJP had this lotus symbol, and another Lok Sabha this BJP another party is having same thing, right? Unless and until the BJP is freeing that symbol, right? So what will happen in case of registered unrecognized party? So what is the process, how the symbol allocation is taking place in that manner? So there are process regarding funds, regarding the all the activity which has to be conducted, on the basis of which the Election Commission of India will be allocating the symbols to this unrecognized registered party. So what are the key requirements? The key requirements are the audited account of last 3 financial years. So the party should have the audited account of what? 3 financial years, right? That how much money came, how much money they are expending, right? So these things will be there. Then expenditure from the last 2 election has to be there. So whatever the last 2 election has been there, the party which has participated in that, so that expenditure has to be brought. Then signature of the authorized party of the official of the symbol. So those, the leader of the party or the head of the party, so their signature will be required. So integration of the required details in the application format. So all the application will be filled. After that, the Election Commission of India will be looking whether the symbol has to be allocated or not. From where the Election Commission of India is getting that power? So whether it is written inside the constitution, whether it is written inside the this act. So it is written, it is governed by the section 29, that is registration of the Representation of People's Act 1951. So all the process is written over here, and the Election Commission of India verifies all the documents. So it provides for the 6 month, initially for the 6 month, that is in the provisional methods, and after that they get the permanent symbol. So final registration is done. So all these things are the process. Can at any given point of time Election Commission of India can take back that symbol? So Election Commission of India has that power, that if rules and regulations are being violated by the political party, in that case the Election Commission of India, they can issue the notice. They can also de-recognize the party. For example, the party which has been recognized at the national or the state, so the Election Commission of India can de-recognize that party. It can freeze or withdraw the symbol. So symbol can be freezed. Then disqualification of the candidates or the members can also be then. Penalties can be imposed, and the deletion of the registered parties list. So deletion from the registered party list can also be done by the Election Commission of India. That you have to remember, right? Symbol allocation for the unrecognized party is that they will be getting the option that these are the symbols available. So from that symbols, either you choose one, or you can also recommend one symbol, right, from your side. For example, this Aam Aadmi Party, so they have recommended this Jhadu from their own side. It was not there in the list. So that free from the exclusion on the symbol. So symbol declared free after the election. And once this registered unrecognized political parties election has been conducted, that symbol will be free, right? So these are all the process which are there, they have to follow. So I hope you have understood the core theme, that how this symbol is being allocated. This was very much in the news because last year the election was in the news. The Lok Sabha election was there, but in our country always election are being conducted, right? Currently also the election has to be happened, right? And recently also the few states have been election there, right? For example, Haryana. So this concept are always useful for your exam. It's not that it was only useful in the 2024. Now let's solve some question on the basis of this. The question, please read the question and take 1 minute of time and after that we will be discussing. The question says, which of the following statement is correct regarding the Election Commission of India new rule for the allocation of the symbols registered and recognized party? The Election Commission of India mandates submission of audited accounts for the last 5-year financial year for the symbol allocation. Is it correct? It's not correct, because the Election Commission asked for the 3-year. So this is a wrong statement. Then RUPPs can choose from the free and non-exclusive symbol for the election. So this is correct. They get a list, and from that list they can choose. They can also recommend from their own side. Then final registration of the RUPP is governed by the Article 324. Is there anything written inside the Article 324 regarding the process of registration of the election symbols? So that is not there. It is there in the Representation of People's Act 1951. So this is a wrong statement, and the Election Commission of India has no authority to freeze or withdraw symbols of this. The Election Commission, just we have read that the Election Commission of India has this authority that they can freeze such kinds of symbols, right? So this statement is also wrong. So only 2 is the correct. B will be the answer. I hope you are understanding this. Let's come to another topic, that is the agriculture export policy of India. Now, why this was in the news? Because the target of India's export, that has not been met, right? Rather, reaching the targets, we have produced less and we have exported less. Therefore, this was in the news. So agriculture export policies was there in the news. Now, among this, when you read this topic, so the most important concept which comes, that is the minimum export price, right? Now, what is this minimum export price? So this is the price which is fixed by the government of any country, and that is fixed for every product, right? For rice it will be fixed, for wheat it will be fixed, for every product these kinds of things will be fixed. That is minimum export price will be fixed, that below this price the exporter from our country cannot export to another country, right? For example, someone is exporting rice from India to USA. So for example, if the government fixes that you cannot export rice below 100 rupees per kg, so no one can export the rice below 100 rupees per kg. So that is the minimum export price. Now, what are the use of this? What are the use? Because many a times you will feel that there is always a crisis. There is some kind of crisis happens in our country. For example, some kind of onion crisis, tomato crisis, right? Sometimes the prices of the onion reach to the 120, 150, 150 also, right? Similarly, last year tomato price has reached there. So this will be very much helpful. Minimum export price will be very much helpful in that scenario. How? Because it will arrest the domestic price rise. For example, let's suppose that 1000 quintal, okay, 1000 quintal of this onion have been produced, right? And the demand in our country, the domestic demand is around 900 quintal. This is just for an example. But if the onion producer export around 400 quintal, right? So how much will be left for the India? it will be only 600, isn't it? So only 600 quintal will be left, but the requirement is how much? 900 quintal is the requirement. So there will be shortages of the 300 quintal, and because of this supply is less, because this 300 quintal supply will be less, demand is same, right? Therefore the price will be high, inflation will be there. But if the government controls this, if the government says that okay, below 120 rupees per kg, no one will export outside. So in outside country, maybe that Indian exporter will not be getting that much demand because it will be less competitive, right? Therefore, what will happen, that out of this 400 quintal, only 100 quintal will be exported and rest 300 quintal will be there inside our country itself. So the total expenditure will be what? 300 quintal plus 600 quintal, 900 quintal, and this demand will be met. So inside our country, the prices of onion will not be rising, right? So I hope you have understood this concept. So this will arrest the domestic price rise. It will augment the domestic supply also. So supply is also been increasing. So that is also there. It will also prevent the illegal exports of the restricted items. So even it will stop the illegal exports as well. Who is doing this? Central government is implementing it. How it is implementing? It is notified under the official gazette under the Foreign Trade Act 1992, right? So under this act, this is being done. I hope you have understood this minimum export price. See, the news is not that much important. No one will ask you in the UPSC Prelims that what are the items on which the government has increased the minimum export price. That will not be coming. The concept will be coming. What is the minimum export price, right? Therefore, you have to link this current affairs in your study, right? And this is the way you have to link it. So I hope you have understood this. Now, what is the organization which is dealing such kinds of trade practices in the world? So it is WTO, World Trade Organization. So World Trade Organization, as this is being established to have a free trade across the country, right? And therefore the World Trade Organization put pressure on the governments that you cannot have the minimum export price a lot, right? So that if the minimum export price will be higher, then in the international markets, the food availability or the product availability will be very less. So that cannot be there. So therefore, it is said that all the countries of the world who are part of the World Trade Organization, right, WTO, they will have to eliminate this practice of minimum export price. Along with the not completely eliminate means they will have to stop giving the export subsidies, right? Export subsidies are being given to the exporters so that their products will be competitive in the market, in the international markets, right? So they will be getting more, they will be having the more export outside the country, right? So that export subsidy has to be stopped, and for that different countries, that is developed countries, developing countries and the underdeveloped countries have got different targets. For example, the developed countries, it has been said that it will be immediately they will have to stop. Means in 2020 this came up, so from the 2020 itself the developed country will have to stop giving the export subsidies. But for the developing country, it is by the end of 2023. So by the end of 2023, the developing countries should stop giving the export subsidy, and for the least developed countries it is 2030. So by 2030 the least developed countries should be stopping giving the export subsidy. Export subsidy से क्या फायदा होगा कि the products will be more competitive in the international market. So I hope you understood. But there is one exemption under this. See, in the world there are so many hungry people, right? And therefore, if the government is providing food for that hungry people under the World Food Program, so for that this kinds of things will not be implemented. So one thing is exempted, that is the World Food Program exemption is there. Food brought for the humanitarian purpose by the World Food Program is exempted from such kinds of export restrictions, right? So they can get that along with the export subsidy as well, because ultimate aim of this World Food Program is to eliminate the hunger. So therefore this has been removed from this. Now come to this question, and please read this question, a big question. So I will be giving you 2 minutes to read it, and then we will be discussing. Okay, let's see along with us. So you can also see the question along with me. Okay. So consider the following statements regarding the India's agriculture export policy and the WTO rules on the agriculture exports. The India agriculture export policy of 2018 aims to increase the farmers' income by promoting export-oriented production and the value-added exports. So that is a correct answer. Then minimum export price is imposed by the central government under the foreign trade rules. So that is also correct. Okay, answer is there. So everyone must be knowing. The World Trade Organization mandated that all countries, regardless of their development status, abolish the agriculture export subsidy by 2025. So this is wrong, because developed countries, they will be eliminated by 2020. The developing countries, they will be eliminated by 2023. And rest of the country, least developed country, by 2030. So this is not uniform for everyone. And the food brought for the humanitarian purpose by the World Food Program is exempted. So this is also correct. So 1 to 4 will be the correct answer. Coming to the next topic, and this topic is very much important. That is the domestic systematically important bank, DSIBs. Right. Now you must have heard about DSIBs or such kinds of banks during the 2008 crisis, right? Global crisis was there. Lehman Brothers crisis was there. Bank of America got faltered, right? So all these banks failed in that global crisis of the 2008. So regarding that, the government of India as well as the RBI, both is concerned, right? So why they are concerned? So that the government, the bank of our country should not be also failing. So therefore what is happening? The Reserve Bank of India is identifying the number of banks in our country which is too big to fail, right? Which is such big that they should not fail. Because if, for example, State Bank of India, if the State Bank of India fails, right, how many crores of the people will impacted? Everyone has faith on this State Bank of India, right? So in no matter, in anyhow, the government have to protect this State Bank of India. So therefore, the RBI has declared this systematically important banks, right? In every August, the government, that is RBI, will be declaring such DSIBs. So bank considered the too big to fall, and it is critical for the interrupted essential banking services. Such kinds of banks should have the banking services continue, because whole country is dependent upon them, right? And the potential to cause the significant disruption if they fail. So they are so important that if they fail, if SBI fails, if SDFC fails, lots of departments, lots of corporate sectors, lots of citizens of the country and the foreign institutions are dependent on them. So they will be impacted. So that should not be failing. Therefore, what RBI felt that therefore to protect these kinds of banks, some extra regulation is required. So therefore, under that, under the Basel norm, this it talks about the common equity tier 1 capital. So this RBI said that all these domestic systematically important banks, they will have to keep the additional common equity tier 1 capital, so that they will not be failing in any scenarios, right? Now, on what basis this will be decided? So they have categorized it into the 5 parts, and on the basis of that, they will be deciding that how much percentage of the, that is the RWA, risk weighted asset, has to be kept as the capital requirement under this, that is the common equity tier 1. So RBI has decided, it has put these kinds of banks in the 5 bucket, and it has said that the SBI will be putting the 0.6%. This is more updated data, that is the 0.8% in 25, SDFC 0.4%, ICICI 0.2%. So this is there. So I hope you have understood this, why RBI is doing this, because these banks are very big and it should not fail at any condition. Therefore, extra regulation has to be there, extra cushion has to be there, right? So that in any circumstances, these kinds of banks should not be failing. Whether at the international level, such kinds of systematically important banks are being declared, yes, that systematically important banks are being declared at the international level. Who declares this? So it is declared by the Financial Stability Board. So Financial Stability Board is the institution which is declaring systematically important banks at the global level in the entire world. So currently there are 29 banks inside that, but there is no bank from India under that 29, right? So no Indian bank is there in the Global Financial Stability Board, which they declared. So under that, systematically important banks is there now there. So JP Morgan, Bank of America, such kinds of banks are there, which is declared at the systematically important banks at the global level. Now, on the basis of this, please try to solve this question. So the question says that the domestic systematically important banks in India, the DSIB, are the banks classified as too big to fail due to their potential to cause significant economic disruption. That is correct. The Reserve Bank of India mandate additional common equity tier 1 capital. So that is also correct. The global systematically important banks are identified by the International Monetary Fund. No, this is not by the IMF. Financial Stability Board is there, that is doing, and only banks with asset exceeding 5% of the income of GDP is considered that DSIB. So that is not there, it is actually 2%. So here you can see that it is 2% of the national GDP. So 1 and 2 is only correct. Coming to the next topic. Our next topic is wetland city accreditation. Wetlands. Whenever you see the word wetland, what comes in your mind? So very important point which must be coming in your mind is Ramsar Convention, right? Under the Ramsar Convention, you must have read about the multiple kinds of wetlands, right? Ramsar sites have been identified. So Ramsar Convention is there. 1971 it came. Under this, the wetlands are being identified. And what is this wetlands? These are such list of wetlands which are very much important for the country, right? So currently India has 85 Ramsar sites. Recently 5 Ramsar sites have been added, 3 in the Karnataka, 2 in the Tamil Nadu. So please, if you do not know that, so please look into this Ramsar sites. So under this Ramsar Convention only, one is Ramsar site, some Ramsar sites they are giving, that is the wetlands. Another that is they are giving a Montreux record. Montreux record. These are the record of those wetlands which are means vulnerable, where habitat loss is happening, where the wildlife loss is happening, right? So that is there. Under this, there are only two in the country, that is the Keledio National Park in the Rajasthan and the Loktak Lake in the Manipur. So only two are there. This coming into this list is not a proud moment, but coming to the Ramsar site is a proud moment for India, right? So two these there. Chilka Lake was also there under the Montreux record, but that has now been removed because the situation and the condition in the Chilka Lake that improved significantly, right? So therefore that has been removed. Now another thing which came under the Ramsar Convention, that is the wetland city accreditation is now there, right? Now what is this wetland city accreditation? So it started in the COP12 in 2015 under the Ramsar Convention only. So this is the third kind of things which under the Ramsar Commission which has started, that is the wetland city accreditation. So what is this? So under this, the cities will be identified, right? And that cities will be identified on the basis of what? How many wetlands are there in that city, and those wetlands, how many wetlands are properly kept in the natural condition, as well as how that is promoting the wildlife, flora, fauna. So how good that wetland is, on the basis of that cities will be identified in different countries under the wetland city accreditation. It will be declared for the 6 years, and it will recognize such city regarding the they are safeguarding the urban wetlands. So I hope you have cleared. Now in this list under the wetland city accreditation, actually globally there is 43 wetland city accreditation, means 43 cities have been identified under this, but there is not a single city from India, right? So therefore for the first time the Indian government had identified 3 cities, nominated 3 cities, that is the Indore, Bhopal and Udaipur, to be included into the wetland city accreditation, right? Now you will ask that what are the wetlands under this 43 cities which are there under the wetland city accreditation? So actually these are the China has the 13, France has the 6. So China has the highest cities under the wetland city accreditation, but currently India does not have. India has sent a nomination from its side, that is the Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Why Indore? Because there has been several kinds of the Ramsar sites inside the Indore city, like Sirpur Lake is there, Yashwant Sagar Lake is there, which is nearby that Ramsar site. Then in the Bhopal there is Bhoj wetland site is there, that is a Ramsar site. Then Jal Tarang Interpretation Center is there, so that is there. In Udaipur there is Pichola Lake is there. Pichola Lake is very famous. Fateh Sagar Lake is there, Rang Sagar Lake is there, Swarup Sagar Lake is there, Dudh Telai is there. So these kinds of things are there. So in the first slot, the Indian government has sent the nomination for the Indore, Bhopal and Udaipur. If the wetland city accreditation accept this, the committee accept this, this will be included into the, along with that 43 other cities inside the world. So I hope that is clear. On the basis of this knowledge, please solve this question. You can pause it if you are not watching online, and if you are watching online, so I am giving you a few minutes to solve this. Now, so with reference to the wetland city accreditation, consider the following statements regarding the wetland city accreditation system was established under the Ramsar Convention during the COP12. So this is correct. In 2015 this was started. Indore, Bhopal, which are nominated for the WCA, are home to the Sirpur Lake and the Bhoj wetland respectively. So Sirpur Lake is there in the Indore, that is correct. Bhoj wetland is there in the Bhopal, so that is also correct. So this is also a correct statement. India currently has the highest number of cities globally accredited under the Wetland Cities Accreditation Scheme. So India currently does not have any. China has actually highest, right? So this is a wrong statement. So 1 and 2 will be the correct. So coming to the next topic, that is India-Myanmar border management. Now this is very interesting. The India-Myanmar border. See, when you will be looking the faces of the northeastern people, right? Obviously they are part of India, right? But by race wise, you will feel that they are more connected to the Myanmar, China, right? Racially they are more connected towards that, isn't it? Because the people of Haryana, they will be looking very different from the people of Manipur. That is why it is, because the racial diversity is there in our country. So to ensure the people to people contact, right, in 2018 at the India-Myanmar border, free movement regime was started. How much is the border? 1643 kilometer is the border. Largest which state? So it is in the Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh largest, then after that Mizoram, then after that Manipur, and after that there is Nagaland. And only these 4 states are there which is bordering the Myanmar, right? So in all these states and along this border, so there were 16 kilometer, that is 16 kilometer from the India sides and the 16 kilometer from the Myanmar sides. The people from this part could go to the up to the 16 kilometer, and people from this part come to the up to the 16 kilometer inside our country. So there were a pass, there was issued on the basis of pass. Even they could stay for few weeks of time, right? In the if some Indian is there, if they had got the pass, so they can cross the Myanmar border, and from there they could spend 1 to 2 weeks as well, right? So this was there to have a close means interaction, people to people interaction. So free movement regime was established. But the problem here is that because of the several factors, because of the security issue, because of the drug trafficking, because of the other kinds of criminal activity which is going on at the India-Myanmar border, now the Union Cabinet has decided that these kinds of free movement which was started in 2018, now this will be scrapped, right? Under what act is was there? It was under the Act East policy, right? India follows the Look East policy, and later on it was the Act East policy, so that was there. So under this policy this was allowed, but because of the several security reasons, now India has said that there will not be any kind of free movement regime for the 16 kilometers, and we will be making fences on our border in all the 1643 kilometers, right? So this is the issue which was there highlighted at that point of time. So at any given point of time, the government, the UPSC could ask that with which country India enjoys the free movement regime. So that will be with the Myanmar. So I hope that issue is cleared. Now solve this question. The question says, with reference to India-Myanmar border, the management consider the following statements. The India-Myanmar border is shared with by 4 Indian states excluding the Meghalaya and the Assam. So that is correct. So that is only the 4 states, that Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. Meghalaya and Assam is not connected over there. So this is correct. And the scrapped free movement regime allowed cross-border movement up to 16 kilometers to enhance people to people ties. So that was, both statement was correct. So C will be the answer. Coming to the another very important topic, that is the India-Maldives relation. See, India-Maldives relation in general is not very much important for the prelims point of view. But the concept over here is very much important for the prelims point of view, right? Because many a times you will be saying that in many a times Junaki is giving answers. So whenever you are giving the answer, please write the question number, then write the answer. Now, so India-Maldives relations. In the recent years, you must have seen that the president of Maldives, so they are tilting towards the China and they are not favoring India, right? And therefore, the relation between the India and Maldives is stressed a bit, right? So therefore, the question was expected from there. At any given point of time, even these things will continue. The relation in the international relation does not change or in 1 day or two, right? For years, same kinds of relation continues. So there are high chances that in 2025, India-Maldives question may erupt. So why it was there? So very important thing is that the government has signed the Comprehensive Economic and the Maritime Security Partnership. So this was very much important. This was signed. Then currency swap agreement is there. Now this concept is very much important. UPSC may not ask you the India-Myanmar question, but they may ask you about the what currency swap agreement they may ask, right? So indirect the question will be from there. Now what is this currency swap agreement and what is this SARC under that, this SARC currency swap framework? Now for example, let's say that the Sri Lanka is in crisis, right? Sri Lanka does not have dollar available with them and it has to import materials from that, right? Lots of things has to be imported inside the Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is facing huge crisis of, let's say that $300 million Sri Lanka want immediately and they do not have this money. So under the SARC currency swap framework, all the countries of the SARC have signed this, and under this Sri Lankan top bank, they will be asking money from RBI. For example, this Reserve Bank of India, they will be asking money from the Reserve Bank of India, right? And in that respect, in corresponding to this 300 million rupees, they will be giving Sri Lankan rupee to the Indian government, right? Currently the Sri Lankan rupee is around 289 rupees, so let's say around 300. So 300 million into 300 Sri Lankan rupee they will be giving to the RBI, and they will say that after 3 months they will be returning this $300 million, right? So 3 month time have been taken. So on immediate basis, the Sri Lankan crisis can be solved because RBI will be giving 300 million rupees to the Sri Lankan top bank, and from there they can have the expenditure, whatever they want to import, they can import. And after 3 months, thus they will be returning $300 million to the RBI, and RBI will be returning whatever the money they have kept, that is the $300 million into 300 Sri Lankan rupee to the Sri Lanka. This is currency swap agreement. This have been signed among all the SARC countries. Now this concept is very important. Beyond that, you can see that some more important thing, that is this international airport runway have been made with the help of India. Then India support in the commercial ports. So these kinds of small things, some facts you have to remember. So that is there. The most important thing is this currency swap agreement. India is also helping Maldives in making this greater Mare connectivity projects, developments of the Tilsa Phusi commercial ports, and all these kinds of things is there. So several kinds of exercises is going on between the India and Maldives. Equivarium is going on, Dosti is going on, Ikatha is going on. So these are also, this also becomes important because many times UPSC directly asks. Last year only the UPSC has asked regarding the exercise Mitra Shakti. So whenever this kinds of exercise is there in the news, you will have to remember this always. And I hope that you have understood this currency swap agreement. This currency swap agreement in the SARC have been established from in 2012, right? So why this is there? To solve the balance of payment crisis which is there inside our country or any country, right? For example, India may also face that crisis, then it can take money from the Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or any other SARC country. So I hope that is clear to you. On the basis of this, please solve this. What is the answer you are getting? So let's read the question. With reference to India-Maldives relation, consider the following statements. India and Maldives have recently adopted the comprehensive economic and maritime security, so that is correct. India has helped in developing the greater Malay connectivity projects in Maldives, that is also correct. And the SAARC currency swap framework have been operation since 2022. So it is not 2022, but it is operation since 2012. These kinds of facts actually UPSC changes, right? UPSC changes 100 billion to 1000 billion. So sometimes this kind of question do comes. So you should have some kind of practice. This statement is wrong. So therefore, what will be the answer? Only 2 will be the. Now coming to the next topic, that is the genocide convention. Now what is this genocide and why this was in the news? So this was in the news because genocide convention is in the news because it marked the 75th anniversary in 2023. So actually this genocide convention, and it is the first human right commission. It is the first human right treaty in United Nations history because it was signed in 9 December 1948. Now along with that, you must be remembering that there is another United Nations Declaration of the Human Right. United Nations Declaration of the Human Right. That was also signed during this time only, right? Only one day after, that is on the 10th December 1948, that was signed. The United Nations Declaration of the Human Rights. So, but just by one day, this treaty makes the Genocide Convention, it becomes the first human right treaty in the United Nations history. Though it came first after 3 years, that is in the 1951, but it was signed first, so it is treated as the first human right treaty in the United Nations history. Now, what is this genocide? So, under this convention only, they have defined that how, when you will be calling it a genocide. Genocide, you must be knowing that what the Hitler has done during the Second World War, that was a genocide. When the mass killing of people is being done, right, using exploitation, using different kinds of chemical weapons, biological weapons, right. So that is a genocide. So how will you identify whether it is a genocide or not? So if the killing members of a group, if the country is targeting any particular members, any particular groups and killing those members, so that will be there. Then causing serious bodily or the mental harm to the members of a group. For example, Hitler, they did this with the Jews, right, in the concentration camp. Such kinds of things were there. Similarly, if any other country do such kinds of things, so and after that only, after the Second World War, this genocide convention came, right. So calling serious body and the mental harm, that will be also be called as the genocide, and deliberately inflicting the group's condition on the life calculated to bring about the physical destruction in the whole or in part. So that will also be a genocide. Imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group. If the government is not letting the group to bring new child, to give birth to new child, that will also be called as the genocide. Because ultimately what the government is trying to make that group extinct from the earth, right? If the new birth will not be there, that is also the genocide, and possibly transferring children of the group into the another groups. So getting converted and other kinds of things, that is also there. So it is the state's obligation. Every state means all the nation. It is the responsibility. Those who have signed this, that is 153 states have signed this. India has signed this in 1949 itself, but India has ratified this, means formally implemented this from 1959. So since 1959, Genocide Convention is there inside our country. Indian government cannot do these kinds of activity. So it is the responsibility of all the governments of all the 153 countries governments. So they will have to prevent and punish the genocide. They will bring the necessary legislation. They will protect and they will bring enough penalties even if the government is not doing, anyone is doing such kind of genocide, right? So government will be protecting from that and try to extradite the perpetrators. So those persons who are involved, those groups who are involved in doing the genocide of another groups, so they will be extradited from country, right? So I hope you have understood this concept of genocide and the genocide convention. This was very much in the news. Now please solve this question. The question says, the Genocide Convention adopted by the United Nations General Assembly was first human rights convention in the United Nations history. So this is correct. And India has not yet ratified the Genocide Convention. We have seen that India has signed in 1949 and India has ratified in the 1959. So this statement is wrong. So 1 is correct, 2 is wrong. So C will be the answer. Coming to the next topic, that is of the science and technology. Now this topic is bit trickier one, right? Even if you read multiple times, maybe that you will not be able to understand this. So we will be trying to understand it in very simple language. Expose mission. Under the expose mission, first of all there is X. So that corresponds to the X-ray. Then there is PO. So that corresponds to the polarization. And then SAT is satellite. So what is being done? Now if you have read science and especially in the 11th 12th, then you must be knowing what is this polarization. So any particle, they will have some kind of vibration, right? For example, this light also has dual nature, particle nature as well as the wave nature, right? So similarly electromagnetic, so similarly there will be some kind of vibration. So either it will be vibrating in the horizontal direction, perpendicular direction, it will be vibrating in this direction, or it will be vibrating in this direction. So that is what, that is because of the polarization. Now this polarization is there, right? So this vibration is there, but when this lights will be and other kinds of waves will be emitted from the very far places, it will be going through the various kinds of distraction, right? Therefore the angle of that polarization will keep on changing. So what is this, what this satellite will be doing? So there are expected that the black holes, neutron stars, active glacier nuclei, pulsar wind nebula, so these kinds of celestial body, they are emitting several kinds of X-rays, and using this exposed satellite, those X-rays can be detected, their polarization can be detected using the polarimeter inside this satellite, and from there it can be identified that whether that is coming from some black holes or some kinds of neutron stars or some kinds of any kinds of things. So that can be very much done, and therefore this is the first time ISRO is doing such kind of activity. This, for the first time ISRO has put this expose mission, the first dedicated X-ray polarimeter mission has been put by the ISRO, and therefore it was very much in the news. So expose mission will do what? It will try to gather whatever the information and that is coming from these kinds of celestial bodies, and what is the range of energy coming from that, right? Then what is the degree of polarization, that will be there, that will be checked. So all these things will be checked inside the exposed polarimeter satellite. So this is the first meter, first time the X-ray polarization has been done by the India, and that is by the ISRO. And polarimeter instrument POLIX will be there, it will be along with this satellite. So that has been developed by the Raman Roshan Research Institute. POLIX will study the bright X-ray sources of 5 to 30 kilo electric volt. So using this, they will be getting lots of information about all the celestial bodies which are there inside in the universe, right? So I hope you have understood this. This is very technical in nature. I have tried to explain you as much simple in possible. So I hope you have got some idea about this. So let's solve the question. Please read this. If you can solve this or not. So with reference to the X-ray polarimeter satellite mission, consider the following statements. The XPOS is the first satellite dedicated to the X-ray polarimeter measurement in the space launched by the ISRO. Obviously, this is the first time ISRO is doing such kind of thing. So this is correct. XPOS operate in the low X-ray energy band, but this is not correct because here you can find that it is doing in the means medium one, and XPOS scientific payload on board XPOS includes the POLIS, so that is there, we have seen this, and the XPOS will observe both persistent and the transient sources like the pulsar, active galactic nuclei, understanding the X-ray radiation. So this is also correct, but this is not in the low range, but it is in the medium range. So 1, 3, 4 will be the correct answer. So I hope that you have got some idea about the XPOS sat. Then another very important topic, that is the anil. Right, this anil is there. New nuclear free fuel is there. By nuclear fuel must be thinking about what is that? Uranium is there, plutonium is there, thorium is there, right? But now new form of nuclear fuel have come up, right? Because what is happening, the current fuel, there are lots of wastages and there are lots of issues of handling that, right? So such kinds of things are there. Therefore this new fuel, anil, and anil is what? Advanced nuclear energy for enriched life. This fuel have been developed. So what is this fuel? What this fuel will be consisting of? It will be consisting of thorium and high SA low enriched uranium. So it will be consisting of the thorium and the halo. Halo is some kind of uranium only, and it has been developed by the institution, that is the Clean Core Thorium Energy. And the most important is it is designed for the pressurized heavy water reactor and the CANDU reactor. So there are multiple kinds of nuclear reactor which is there, which is producing the nuclear energy. For example, heavy water reactor is there, pressurized heavy water reactor is there, then cold water reactors is there, right? So if you do not know, then India is running the 3 phases of the nuclear reactors. So please have a idea on these kinds of things. Please go read this, the nuclear phases and the nuclear kinds of nuclear reactors in our country as well as outside the world also. Means more specifically you should be focusing on the pressurized heavy water reactor, pressurized heavy water reactor as well as this cold water reactor, because these are the 3 kinds of reactor is there. Now these things have been achieved. You don't have to go into the too much technical things, but this one is very much important. The benefits of anil is there. That is, it is high energy production for the longer duration. So using this fuel for the longer duration of the time, the radioactivity, such kinds of energy can be, nuclear energy can be produced. Then reduce the nuclear waste by 85%. That is huge, right? So nuclear waste will be reduced. The decomposition of the nuclear waste does not take place, right? And बहुत problem आता है nuclear waste को उसको waste manage करने में, but 85% reduction will be there. That is huge. Then improved nuclear safety will be there, lower life cycle operating cost will be there, and the proliferation resistance will also be there. So these are the benefit anil will be having in the nuclear reactors. Now solve some question based on this. See if you are able to solve it or not. See, these questions are very much technical in nature, so you should have the background knowledge also. Then only you will be understanding the concept in clear manner, right? Therefore, I tell you that please read this. Okay. So anil, regarding this anil, fuel combines thorium and the high low enriched helium. That is correct. It is designed for the pressurized water reactor. No, it is not designed for the pressurized water reactor. It is designed for the pressurized heavy water reactor, and there is difference between the pressurized water reactor and the pressurized heavy water reactor. There is difference between the moderators and the coolants, right? So these are differences. In the pressurized heavy water reactors, so there will be deuterium oxide. DTO is the moderator and the coolants. But in the pressurized water reactor, the water in the normal form in pressurized format. So that is there. So you should be knowing these kinds of differences. Annealed fuel will have the high energy production for this, and that is a 85% reduction in the nuclear waste. These are the correct. So 134 will be the correct answer. See this question. So last year there was the Ayodhya Ram temple was built, right? Pradhan Pratishtha was there on the 22nd of the Jan, and that was done by the Prime Minister of India. And before doing that, the Prime Minister of India has visited multiple temples of our country that were somewhere linked to the Ramayana or the Ram or the Sita, right? And in that only the Prime Minister of India has visited the Veerbhadra temple in Lipakshi. You also call this as the Lipakshi temple, which is there in the Ayodhya, right? So what is the linkage? So you can connect this that if you know the Ramayana, then when this Ravan was kidnapped, when he kidnapped the Sita, and when he was taking back her, right? So at that point of time, the Jatayu, that was a bird, right? So that Jatayu came and tried to save the Sita Mata from the Ravan, but Ravan was very powerful and he had killed the Jatayu, and Jatayu fell down, and it is said that the Jatayu fell at the place where now this is the Vidarbha temple, that is the Lipakshi temple. So that is the connection with the Ramayana. So it was built in the 16th century by the Virupanna Nayak and the Viranma under the Vijayanagar Empire, right? Vijayanagar Empire, you must be knowing that it was established by the Hariharan Bukka in 1336, and till 1646 Vijayanagar Empire was there. The most important ruler in the Vijayanagar Empire was the Krishnadev Rai. There were lots of various important things was there, like administration was very good, military was very good, cultural aspect and the different aspects. Krishnadev Rai's Vijayanagar Empire is very much famous. It is also the very important topic for the UPSC Prelims. One means in few years the Vijayanagar Empire keeps on repeating. So it is known for the architectural grandeur and this kinds of things. It is associated with the Ramayana, so that I have told you. So Lipakshi itself means the rise bird. So that Jatayu which has fallen down. So it is said that the please rise above. So that is the Jatayu. Or in architecture, now these points are important because UPSC has the habit of asking these kinds of concepts. So it is notable for the hanging pillars which does not touch the ground. So hanging pillars are like this. It does not touch the ground. Ground is here. So these kinds of things are there in this. It houses a massive monolithic Nandi statue. Monolithic means those who have been built from single stone. Right? Monolithic, single stone. So that is there. Of the Nandi statue is there. Then it contains the mural and the fresco of Hindu mythology, including the large fresco of the Lord Shiva Artha. So actually this is a Shiva temple, and therefore all the kinds of avatars of the Shiva is being shown in this temple. So I hope you have got some idea about this Veerbhadra temple and Lipakshi temple. It is there in the Andhra Pradesh. Please solve this. Now, with reference to the Veerbhadra temple in Lipakshi, the temple was built by the ruler of Chola Empire. No, it was not. It was the Vijayanagar Empire. It was done by the Vijayanagar Empire. Nipakchi means rice bird Telugu, referring to the Lord Rama. That is correct. The temple is known for the hanging pillars which does not touch the ground. That is correct. And the temple houses mural and a fresco depicting the Lord Vishnu. No, not Lord Vishnu, but Lord Shiva. So this statement is also wrong. So 2 and 3 is correct. So only 2 statement will be correct. So B will be the answer. Now coming to the another topic. So these concepts are very much important. These are the very emerging concept, and on the basis of which the new things are being developed in the world. Right? You cannot think of the world from now on where there will not be Internet of Things, where there will not be artificial intelligence, where there will not be machine learning. Right? So these are the culmination of these things. Sangam Digital Twin Initiative is there. Now what is this? If you read multiple times, maybe you are not able to understand, because the language which the government has given is in such a way. Now Sangam means what? Culmination of various kinds of things. Right? So it is the Sangam of various kinds of technology, as well as it is the Sangam of various kinds of experts. So that is Sangam, right? Then Digital Twin Initiative is there. Twin Initiative, digital means digital, you know, and twin means there will be 2 kinds. Right? Now first imagine there is a room, right? There is a physical room, and now you have to decorate that room. What are the options? One option is that you bring all the materials, that you bring the sofa, you bring the table, you bring the every kinds of things which you want to put in this, like bed and every kinds of thing. Then you try to put in the room, and then you see that which will be the best location for sofa, where it should be kept, then bed where it should be kept. So that is there. But if same thing can be done using digital medium, using artificial intelligence, using machine learning and the Internet of Things, wouldn't that be amazing? So what is happening now in the same room? The things is that you will have the option that you can arrange the sofa over there digitally, right? Hypothetically, you can do that. Just like if you go to the lens cart, if you scan your face, so you will be able to see that which spectacles is fitting you, right? Which is showing you. So some kind of that, rough idea you can get that. So what is there? There will be some physical things, and for that twins will be made. Exact replica will be made, right? And that will be done with using what? Digital technology will be used. Sorry. So this is what the Digital Twins Initiative is there. So what the government is trying to do? Government is trying to attract every kind of person from every kind of means experts, whether you provide product, whether you provide services, or whatever kinds of things. So there will be culmination of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things. So that will be there. It will seek to generate the social impact through the innovative approaches using the digital technologies in infrastructure worlds. For example, if you have to design a city, right? So where you should put the flyover, where you should put the underpass bridges, right? Where you should place the drainage system, so such kinds of things can be imagined digitally, right? So physical infrastructure is there, digitally you will be imagining. So digital twin you will be creating. This is what there, and it will have the 2 stage, and the government is attracting any kind of people from any experts, whether you from any product you are delivering, any services you are there. So government is trying to attract everyone so that this can be very much successful. So there will be 2 stages, that is, one will be the exploratory phases, when the things will be explored, clarification will be made that what is good and what is not. Then after that practical demonstration will be there. So real time it will be implemented after that. First they will be demonstrate the things, explain the things. So after that will be there. So I hope you are able to understand this very complex concept, because if you read the PIB book or whatever, wherever this article is written, in one go you will not be able to understand what they are trying to say. Solved question on this. So the question says, with reference to the Sangam Digital Twin Initiative, the project aims to integrate digital twin technology, AI, ML and the infrastructure planning. So that is correct. Initiative includes the 3-stage. No, it is not 3-stage, it is 2-stage. Proof of the concept. So that is a wrong statement. And digital twin technology creates virtual replica of the physical assets enabling the real-time monitoring and simulation. So that is what I have explained you. It is creating the virtual replica of what is going to be the real one, right? So that is there. Then initiative aligns with the decade vision 2044 and the focuses solely on the telecommunication. It is not focusing solely on the telecommunication. Entire infrastructure system, every kind of infrastructure, every kind of urban planning, every kinds of things can be solved using this, not only the telecommunication. So 1 and 3 only is the correct. A will be the right answer. Now coming to the next topic. Now these kinds of topics are also very much favorite for the UPSC. Sometimes they will be asking seahorse, sometimes they will be asking any other things. Now this seaweed was in news and India has started initiatives to produce this kind of seaweeds. You will feel that what is seaweeds? By name it is clear that it will be must be in the sea, right? And it is some kind of weed. What is weed? The unnecessary plants and unnecessary things, grasses which erupts, right? So that is weed. Seaweed. Now, so the news was there that in the Koteshwar, Kori Creek, Kutch, Gujarat, India is trying to put this kinds of seaweed. So this is the first national conference on promotion of the seaweed cultivation. And when anything is first, it becomes very much important. This question has not come up in the 2024. Maybe that it will come up in the 2025. So this Koteshwar, Kori Creek, Kutch, Gujarat is there. Various kinds of sea cultivation is there. Now, what is this seaweed that you have to understand, right? So this seaweeds, it is a type of microscopic alga, right? You must be knowing about the alga, that is lichen, fungi, right? So this is an organism. So micro alga is there. काई जो लग जाता है ना, जहां कभी आप देखोगे पानी बहुत ज्यादा लग रहा है तो काई लग जाता है ग्रीन ग्रीन टाइप का. व्हाट इज दैट? दैट इज ए alga. So that is macroscopic alga is there. It is a primitive plant without true roots. It does not have the true roots and neither it has the true stem, neither it has the true leaves. So these things are not there, though it looks like the weed, right? But these weeds does not have the true roots, does not have the true stems, does not have the true leaves only. Now, in what kind of habitat it survives? This is very important. So it will thrive in an environment of shallow coastal water, not in the deep sea. It will survive in the shallow coastal water. Means here, for example, if India is there, here land ends. So here there will be shallow coastal water, right? So in that region it will be there. It will be in the brackish water. What is brackish water? Brackish water is in between the fresh water and the sea water, right? Sea water will be very much saline. Fresh water will not be saline. So in between that there will be brackish water. So brackish water and shallow coastal habitats will be there and on the rocky shores. So these are the things which require there. There will be 4 types of this. Now the most important part here is what are the application, because UPSC is asking application based question where this seaweed can be used. So it has multiple uses, right? Multiple uses in the direction that it can be used as a renewable sources, right? It can be used for the food, it can be used for the energy, chemical, medicine, agriculture, personal purposes. It can be used for making the pharmaceuticals, drugs, right? So for the treating goiter, cancer and other kinds of therapies it will be there. Then industrial kinds of things, like it will be able to produce the cosmetics, paper, paints. So this will also be used there. Then environmental, the very important point, that it absorbs the carbon dioxide. It absorbs the carbon dioxide very efficiently. You know that because of the carbon dioxide, global warming is happening. So the seaweed will be helpful in absorbing that also. Plus, It will also be used in producing the bioplastic. Plastic usage. India is the world's largest producer of the plastic. Recently it has been found, right? So it will be able to produce the bioplastic, right? So using this seaweed bioplastic that will be biodegradable in nature, that can be produced, right? So these are the very awesome benefit it has. Now India is having the seaweed mission, right? Seaweed mission. So in that India is focusing that there are 7,500 kilometers of coastline India is enjoying along all the 9 states. So in that the government is focusing that in this region the seaweeds will be produced and it will be commercialized. Now what kind of seaweeds? There will be 2 kinds of mainly products will be there. That is, one will be the Kalam IME and the Kalam ACE. So Kalam IME, it will boost the antiviral immunity. So if you are taking this, it will boost this will have the effect of antiviral things. And Kalam ACE, it will be very much helpful those who have the high cholesterol or high another kinds of this, that is the dyslipidemia. So those who are having these kinds of diseases, so it will be very much helpful for that, right? So this is a multiple purpose. It is very much eco-friendly. It is green in nature. So all these things are very much helpful for the seaweed. Therefore, the government is trying to promote as much seaweed possible. So it started with the Koteshwar, that is the Kutch, Gujarat. Now this location is also important. UPSC may directly ask that from where the seaweed cultivation has started. They will give the option that the Kutch is there, Gulf of Mannar is there, Andaman Nicobar is there, then this Sundarban desert is there, Sundarban mangrove is there. So from that Kori Creek, Kutch will be there. Now solve this question. Consider the following statement about the seaweed cultivation and its application. So seaweed are the macroscopic alga that thrives only in the deep sea brackish water. Does it survive in the deep sea? No, it cannot survive. It survives only in the shallow sea, right? Just beyond the coastal region, right? Just beyond the coastal region it will survive. So not in the deep sea. So shallow sea in the brackish water it will survive. So this statement is wrong. Seaweed is categorized into the 4 groups based on this pigment. So that is correct. Seaweed mission focuses to expand the 7,500 kilometers of coastline. That is, I have said you correct. And this kinds of the 2 kinds of extract government is planning to have this, right? So one will be the antiviral, one will be this helpful in the high cholesterol. So this is very much correct. So 3 options seem to be correct. So C will be the answer. Now coming to the next topic. Now this concept is also very much important. If you read it on your, excuse me, the RBI issues fiat on BPSP card transaction. That is what? The business payment service provider, right? Now, what is this? Now with a very simple example we will be understanding this. For example, you are there with your friend. Now you have to purchase something of rupees 250. For example, you have to purchase something of rupees 250. And the shopkeeper says that they only accept cash. But you do not have the cash with you. But your friend along with you, he says that he has the cash, right? So what you will do? Your friend will pay 250 rupees to the shopkeeper and you will do the UPI transaction of 250 rupees to the friend, right? So who is what? Your friend in this scenario is business payment service provider. That's it. Now what does this say? For example, if someone has some credit card, right, and those places where the credit card will not be, and it is not for the normal people, I have just said you for the understanding. This is for the business to business payment only. Business to business payment only, right? So those businessmen who does not have this direct Visa and the MasterCard, sorry, does not have such kinds of things, those who cannot transfer the money directly, so they will do what? So one businessman will be there, A will be there. Now A will have the credit card. Using the credit card, they will pay to the what? Business payment service provider. Now this business payment service provider will pay to the another businessman, and using what? Using NEFT or using RTGS. NEFT and RTGS, you must be knowing that this is a medium for the digital transaction. So this businessman was not accepting the credit card, right? But this businessman want to pay in the credit card. Therefore, this person came, that is this organization came, that is the BPSP, that is the business payment service provider. Now this person will say that, okay, you pay me with the credit card, I will pay with him with the NEFT and RTGS. So this is the simple concept of BPSP, that is the business payment service provider. So RBI has done what? RBI has directed Visa and the MasterCard to halt card-based business-to-business transaction processing to the fintech firm. So this directly specifically targeted the business. Third-party services does not impact the other transaction. So what is the objective of this? This step aligns the RBI's aim to enforce the stricter regulatory compliances with the fintech sector and enhances the security of the digital payment system. Why this issue is emerging? Because of the security reasons. Now, if someone want to purchase, some businessmen want to purchase illegal things from some other person, and if they do the transaction directly, right, so that will be tracked by the government. So what they do, that they will be giving doing this transaction using the BPSP. So the government, the RBI has stopped this kind of BPSP using this, that is the Visa and the MasterCard, to stop the fraud. I hope I have been able to explain you in very simple language. Now solve this question. It is based on that concept only. So consider the following statements regarding the RBI's directive of the business payment service provider card. The RBI has directed Visa and the MasterCard to hold the card business to business payments processed through the fintech. So that is correct. And the BPSP facilitated B2B business using the credit card to pay supplier who do not accept cards directly transferring funds to the this. That is also correct. The RBI directive aims to address the potential risk of fraud and unauthorized transaction. So that is also correct. So these all the three are correct. So C will be the answer. Now Global Pulse Conference. Now this was in the news. UPSC has a habit of asking such kinds of things, such kinds of organization. For example, Environmental Protection Agency, it has asked this year only in 2024. So whenever this kinds of news comes up, you should be knowing about that organization, or at least means how much helpful is that, right? So in this direction, what is there? Global Pulse Conference is there. What this Global Pulse Conference is there? It is a non-profit organization now, which has collaboration of every kind of person in 24 nations. Right? More than 500 private sector members are there. Now you will feel that what do you mean by the every kind of person? Every kind of person, whether they are the researcher, whether they are the grower, means those who produce pulses, whether they are the farmers, whether they are the exporter, whether they are the importer, whether they are the government bodies, whether they are the multilateral organization, or anyone. So this is a collaboration. This is a non-profit organization, and this is a collaboration among everyone in these 24 nationals, right? And its headquarters is in Dubai, and it has partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization as well. So this organization is not that much important. This much information is enough for you, but what is important is regarding the pulses, because UPSC has the habit of asking such kinds of things also regarding the agricultural activities. There are several questions nowadays are coming from the agriculture and the environment directly in the current affairs, right, in the UPSC prelims. So regarding the pulses, first of all tell me that whether the pulses, it is of which season, whether it is a Rabi, whether it is a Kharif, or whether it is of the Zaid. So many of you will be surprised that the pulses can be produced in all the three seasons, whether it is Rabi or Kharif or the Zaid. So it depends on what kind of pulses is there. For example, if you talk about the arhar, moong, it will be sown in the Rabi season, sorry, Kharif season. Similarly, if you talk about the chana, kabli chana you must be eating, rajma you must be eating. So that are sown during the Rabi season. Similarly, other kinds of pulses will be sown in the Zaid season. So the pulses are happening inside our country throughout the year. The things will be depend, right, that what is the climatic condition, what is the weather condition that there at that point of time, and based on that different types of pulses will be grown inside our country. So that is there. So Rabi pulses, Kharif pulses, please read this. These are the climatic requirements of this. The most important facts from this is that the India is the largest producer, largest consumer and the largest importer of the pulse. Now, India is the largest producer, largest consumer, but even if India is the largest producer, it is not able to satisfy its own demand. It is not still self-sufficient, right? Therefore, India has to import, and therefore India is also the largest importer of the pulses. This is very strange fact, and therefore the Indian government has targeted that by 2027 India will be targeting that India will achieve the self-sufficiency in pulses, that the 14% of the pulses is being of the world population of world pulses is being imported by the India, so that India will not have to import in by 2027. So this fact was very much important. There is nothing as such more in this article. So let's solve this question. Please read it once. Now, consider the following statement about the Global Pulse Conference. Now, by looking at the Global Pulse Conference, if you will not have the idea, you will feel that this is a multilateral organization. It must be a multilateral organizations like Paris Climate Deal or any kinds of UNFCCC, right? So you should have the idea. So the pulses are primarily grown in India during the Kharif and the Rabi season without a specific climatic needs for each season. So that one statement is there. GPC, which works to support the sustainable pulses globally, is headquartered in the New York. So it is not headquartered in the New York, it is headquartered in the Dubai. And India is the largest producer, consumer and the importer of the pulse. So that is correct. And the India primarily grown in the Rabi and the Kharif season. So that is also correct. Also in the Zaid season, in between the Rabi and Kharif, pulses are also grown over there. So it will be 1 and 3 will be the answer. Then another topic, that is the Law Commission of India. Epidemic Disease Act 1897. This was very much in the news since last 4-5 years. Why? Because this corona pandemic have erupted. No one knew before that what is this Epidemic Disease Act. And this Epidemic Disease Act 1897, this is a very old act, right? It was passed in 1897 during the colonial rule. So recently Law Commission has given a report regarding this disease, regarding this act, that is the Epidemic Disease Act. So in this, Law Commission of India has said that this is outdated legislation, you have to change it. The globalization is a challenge, because in the globalized world after 1990, when the world has been open, so from anywhere the countries are coming, the people from anywhere are coming, right? Import and export are happening in multiple dimensions, right? So there are high chances that such kinds of epidemic will be erupting, isn't it? Because during the corona pandemic, all the country, they have blocked their international flights and the coordination and collaboration, right? People to people movement was blocked. Why? Because there were lots of chances of spreading this corona. New kinds of variety was coming up every day, right? So therefore, globalization has new kinds of challenges, and because of all these kinds of things, there is need to have a stricter enforcement. Epidemic plan has to be changed. The things has changed a lot in this 120 years. It was passed in the 1897. So this has to be changed. This was the news. But let's understand about the Epidemic Disease Act, because you not only have to read about the news, you will have to go into the background of that. From there only, see, from the current affairs, directly only 20 to 22 questions will be there as per the current pattern of the 2024. But indirectly you can correlate that topic in such a manner that you will be touching 40 to 50 questions of the UPSC Prelims 2025, and that was happened during the 2024 as well. So you will have to read according to that. The objective is to control the spread of the dangerous epidemic disease. So that is there, and the act applies the entire country excluding the territory which were the part of this. So entire country it is taking place. And the one important point is that this act was amended. An ordinance came in 2020 and this was amended. Why this was amended? Because during the corona pandemic, you must have heard that the people were targeting doctors. People were hitting doctors. Those families whose family member were dying, they were trying to hit the doctors, right, physically. Therefore, this ordinance have been amended, and it says that the acts include the protection for the healthcare professionals combating the epidemic disease and expand the power of the central government to prevent the spread of the disease. So healthcare professionals will be protected. What kind of protected? Harm, injury, hurt, dangerous to life, obstruction, any kinds of things. So it will be the power of the central government that using this Epidemic Disease Act, they can do what? They can do inspection of any ship or the vessel leaving or arriving at any ports. Because at that point of time, corona pandemic, you do not know that what object is having this corona, this virus, which person is having which person is infected, right? So if the government wanted, it could stop the ships and the vessels to reach to India, to deport on our harbors, right? And the detention, it can detain any person from any port. So these things was this quarantine and other kinds of things were very much there. So to do that, this Epidemic Disease Act was amended. Now solve this question. The question says that consider the following statement regarding the Epidemic Disease Act 1897 and its amendment in 2020. So Epidemic Disease Act 1890 empowers the central government to regulate travel, and so this is correct. The 2020 amendment provides for the criminalization of the violence against the healthcare, so that is also correct. And the 2020 amendment restricts the central government's power to inspect the ship and the detain travelers only to the specific epidemic diseases. So this is not there. It was there to give more power to the central government, not restrict their powers, right? So that statement is wrong. 1 and 2 will be the answer. So यहाँ incorrect पूछा है, so 3 will be the answer, so B will be the. Coming to next topic, that is the first status reports of the snow leopard. Now, what is this topic? You must have heard about the Project Tiger, isn't it? So Project Tiger, when was it started? In 1973. So that was for the protection of the tigers. Similarly, Project Lion started in 2009. Project Lion, not Project Snow Leopard. It started in 2009. Right. So that is there. Who is the head? Who is the head of what? This National Board of Wildlife. And who is the head of National Tiger Conservation Authority? If you know, then you can comment. So this Environmental Ministry has released this new snow leopard census has been done. For the tiger also, the tiger census is done every 4 years, right? Similarly, for the snow leopards also, it will be done every 4 years. But this was the first status reports of the snow leopard is there. And in India, there was 718 individual across the country. Means in the India, there was 718 individuals. From that, in Ladakh, there were 477. Uttarakhand, there were 124. Similarly, Himachal, Arunachal, Sikkim, Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the distribution. Most importantly, it is mostly available in the Ladakh region. And obviously, the name suggests that it is a snow leopard. So it will be in that location which will have the more snow, and Ladakh will have the more snow. So it is done every 4 years, and will be through the, and the most important point about here is the status, IUCN status of a snow leopard is vulnerable. It is not endangered or critically endangered. So do not confuse and do not mark wrong answer in your prelims. So this is vulnerable in nature. Most importantly, Ladakh is the region where having the maximum things. First time this status reports have been done, and it is conducted by the Wildlife Institute of India, right? It is conducted by the Wildlife Institute of India. I am telling you that the National Tiger Conservation Authority is headed by the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, and the National Wildlife Board is being headed by the Prime Minister of India. This you should be knowing. Now, solve this question. Where is question? It is classified as the endangered in IUCN. No, it is vulnerable in nature. So that is wrong. And the snow leopard population assessment in India has estimated highest number of the snow leopard in the Arunachal Pradesh. So it was not in Arunachal Pradesh, but it was in the Ladakh. Both the statements are wrong. Correct have been asked, so neither one nor two will be the answer. Now coming to this question, interlinking of the rivers, these kinds of things is always there in the news. So you must be knowing. So India have been doing this interlinking of the rivers. For example, Ken-Betwa interlinking projects, right? Similarly, it has been in the news that now the modified Parvati Kali Sindh Chambal link project will be there, right? As the name suggests, what will it will be doing? It will link the Parvati, Kali Sindh and the Chambal. So interlinking of the rivers will be there. The important point is that what are the states involved and at what location it is there. So states involved are Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and the Union Ministry of the Jal Shakti is there. And this initiative aims to integrate the river of Eastern Rajasthan Canal, part of the government national perspective plans for the interlinking of the rivers program. So that is there. Ministry of Water Resources is directly involved, and Central Water Commission is there. It was formulated by this 1980, but currently it was in the news because it has been modified, right? So modified version of this. So water supply has to be changed. So it is said that the Kali Sindhi and the Parvati region water will be shifted towards the Chambal side. So that therefore this project is there. One important fact we have to remember, that is the diversion points can be the Rana Pratap Sagar and the Gandhi Sagar Dam. So if UPSC ask that on which river the Rana Pratap Sagar Dam and the Gandhi Sagar Dam is there, so that is on the Chambal river. And actually this Kali Sindhi and the Parvati river, these are the tributaries of the Chambal itself. So that link has been done. Rest all the things I have already explained you. So other things is there. You can read from the booklet as well. Solve this question. This is very easy question. So what are the states involved in modified Parvati Kali Sindhi Chambal region? So it is Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh is not there, Rajasthan is there, Haryana is not there, Punjab is not there. So Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan is there. So only two only will be, A will be the answer. This topic was not much important, therefore I am not going into too much detail of this. Now, government schemes and the government programs like this, Kilkari, right? What a good name, Kilkari, right? Kilkari program is there. By looking at word, by listening the word, Kilkari. Who does this Kilkari? A small child, right? A small child do this, the whatever the sound they produce. So that is what Kilkari kinds of things. So baby gurgle, right? So many times what is the baby gurgle? So that is the Kilkari. Now, what it will be doing? So it will try to connect the pregnant lady as well as the newly born lady is up to the age of 1 year of the child, right? So those mothers will be connected using what? Phone, right? And on the phone they will be getting the important information through the messages, through the voice information, right? So they will be knowing that what they have to do. For example, many a times the mother do not know what kind of the vaccine their child has to get, right? So these kinds of information will be provided using mobile, right? Voice messages. So what is there? It provides free weekly time sensitive audio messages about the pregnancy, childbirth and the child care. So specific to the women, right? So those who will be of the 8 month, so based on that 8 months pregnant, so they will be getting other message. Those who are the 9 month pregnant, those who has the child, so they will be getting the other message. So that will be there. It will cover the 72 pre-recorded messages and the second trimester pregnancy until the child turns 1 year old. It will start from what? Second trimester, 3 month, 3 month, 3 month, 9 month in a baby born. So from the second trimester it will start, the message will be start coming until the baby is getting 1 year old. So that will be done. So women registered on the reproductive child health portal based on their last menstrual periods will be detected, and on the basis of that the message will be sent directly to the woman. And a fictional character, Dr. Anita, have been kept. See, the behavioral changes takes place when the message coming from the right authority. So if the call is coming from the doctor, the woman, the lady, the pregnant woman, they will be listening to that, right? So Dr. Anita has been the fictional character under which name it will be coming. And the very most important point over here is it is managed by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. By looking at the women, you may feel that this program will be coming under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. No, this program is being run by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So there will be integration of the RCS portal and other kinds of things will be there. Kilkari and other kinds of things will be there. Now based on this, please solve this question. That which of the following are the key features of the Kilkari program? Provides free weekly audio messages about the pregnancy and the child care. This is correct. Targeted women based on their last menstrual periods or the childbirth, date of birth. So the government will be able to identify that how much have been the age of the womb, right? The child which is there in the womb. So from that basis, the different set of messages will be sent. Then requires not much investment in the technology. So this was there actually. So it does not require additional investment, because what is the infrastructure required? This mobile phones will also be already be there. Voice message has to be recorded and that has to be sent during the messages, right? So not much infrastructure is required using this. So it required not much infrastructure, that is correct, and it is managed by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. No, it is managed by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So this statement is wrong. So 1, 2, 3 will be the correct, so only 3 will be the answer. Coming to this topic, that is the Rani Charamma. Have you heard about this Rani Chamanna? Modern history question. Now, how this current affairs is important in historical aspect. If the UPSC asks about anything about the Rani Chennamma, all the aspirants will think that this is a history question. It will coming from the basic history book. But if you read the spectrum does not say anything about the Rani Chennamma. But last year in 1800 in 2024, 200 years have been passed on, and therefore this Rani Chennamma was very much in news because she had done a revolution in 1824. So therefore 200 years was there, and therefore this was in the news. And you will not be finding this news, this kinds of information in your traditional books which the UPSC aspirants reads. Either they read for the history, what you read? You read for NCRTs or you read the spectrum, right? There are very few who will be reading another kinds of books written by the very reputed authors because you do not have the time. So these kinds of things, these kinds of historical aspects can also be covered using the current affairs only. So what was this Rani Chennamma story? So this Rani Chennamma, she was born in Belagavi district of the Karnataka, and after that she got married to the king of Kittur. Now see, the year is what? Around 1824, right? Not the marriage age, but the revolution year is around 1824. Now this is the time when the Britishers had already captured entire South India except the Kerala wala part, Trivandrum and all kinds of things, right? Mysore was already captured, right? So that is there. 1799, you must be remembering the Tipu Sultan. So Tipu Sultan died, and after that the fourth Anglo-Mysore War happened, and in the fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan died, and whole Karnataka region was captured. Mysore region was captured, right? But there were few parcel of the lands on which the Britishers does not have the direct control, and later on it emerged as an princely states. So that was one princely state on which this Raja Malla Sarajaj was ruling. So see, he got married to this Rani Chennamma. So Rani Chennamma got shifted to the Kittur because he got married. And this Malla Saraj, he died in 1816, and because of that, though at that point of time Rani Chennamma had one son, that was the Shivaling Samudra Sarja, but that person also died. His child, that was the person who was ruling, his son, so he also died in 1824. So before dying him only, the Rani Chennamma has adopted a son, that was the Shivaling Tappa. And when this person died, means his son, Rani Chennamma's son died, so she herself took into the rebellion, and even she won the first battle in the against the Britishers. And at that point of time, Britishers were very powerful. You must be knowing that entire India, South India, they have already control, right? It is after the Carnatic War, after the Mysore War, after the Anglo-Maratha War. That is the time. So Britishers were already very powerful. So in the first battle, the Britishers were defeated by the Rani Chennamma. But in the second battle, so Rani Chennamma lost, and she was taken hostage. She was imprisoned, and later in 1929 she died. But she is known for the 1824 rebellion which she has done to protect her empire from the Britishers, right? Therefore she has fought very bravely. Later on, the adopted son of the Rani Chennamma was not accepted, and using the doctrine of lapse, the thing, that is the territory, was annexed by the Britishers during the Dalhousie time. So this is the history of Rani Chennamma. You should be knowing these kinds of things, because only Rani Lakshmi Bai is not important. Even for the mains point of view, you can mention Rani Chennamma in your answers. So which among the following belong to the Belagavi district of the Karnataka and restricted the British East India Company in 1824? So that was the Rani Chennamma. But if you do not read this from the current affairs, how will you do this? There is no specific book which you are reading for this kind of information, but there are high chances that this will be emerging in the exam. Then Sapinda marriage. Sapinda marriage you must have heard about. See, you must be knowing that in our country same means family में शादी करना allowed नहीं है, मतलब हिंदू मैरिज में allowed नहीं है. हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट डज नॉट allow that. बट सपिंडा मैरिज के अंदर ये बोला जा रहा है दैट इट इज अंडर द सेक्शन 5 ऑफ द हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट. सपिंडा मैरिज will be not possible. So what is this Sapinda marriage actually? See, there will be a common ancestor. So the common ancestor will have some son, right? So the lineage of the son will be there. Then the ancestor must be having some daughter. So lineage of the daughter will also be there, right? But at what given point of time you can marry in the same family, that decides the Sapinda marriage. It is said that if from the brother side, if there has not been the 5 generation, there should be minimum 5 generation, and from the mother side there should be minimum 2 generation. Then only the child, those adults, recent adults can be married together, right? So that is the Sapinda marriage, and this Sapinda marriage in general is not allowed, means before this is not allowed, right? So if you see that if this person want to marry this, that is not possible. Only at this level he can marry this in same family if they have the same common ancestors or the same lineage is there. So that is the Sapinda marriage, and it was challenged in the Delhi High Court. This section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act, where this Sapinda marriage is not allowed, so that was challenged, but the court felt that whatever written in the Hindu Marriage Act, so that is 100% correct, so it does not change anything, so things was dismissed. So I hope that you have understood it. One exception is that if the custom allows, and it's not that any person can do, it should be the custom, it should be the culture which should be allowing, right? Hindu Marriage Act have come from the parliament, but that does not mean that the parliament is deciding all the custom, tradition, culture, right? To have the uniformity across all the Hindus present in our country, Hindu Marriage Act came, right? But it will not decide all the custom, tradition. So if the custom, tradition, culture is permitted in any particular group, then Sapinda marriage can be allowed, but otherwise this will be the things which will be followed in general. Now on the basis of this, please solve the question that which of the following statements regarding the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is correct. Sapinda marriage refers to the union between the individual who are closely related to the linear ascents, so that is correct. Sapinda marriage is prohibited within the generation of the mother side and the 5 generation on the father side, so that is correct. Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act allows Sapinda of an established custom permits, so that is correct. And Sapinda marriage is always considered valid regardless of the community customs, so that is not considered valid. Only in those culture, only in those customs which is allowing the Sapinda marriage, only in that thing it will be allowed, right? This statement is wrong. It is not universally correct. So 3 statements are correct, so C will be the answer. Next topic. This remains in the news always. You must have heard about this multiple times. That is anti-satellite, ASAT weapon. Now, few facts in this is very important. By looking at the word anti-satellite, what you will be feeling? That missile will be launched and then satellite will be distracted, right? That is what you will feel. But many a times missile will not be launched and then also the satellite will fail. This is important. So the thing is, anti-satellite, everyone knows, anti-satellite weapons. So it will be a weapon for the distracting satellite. That is there. But it will destruct both kinetically as well as the non-kinetically. Right. Kinetically how? Because kinetically you know, kinetic energy you must be knowing, right? So missiles will be launched. So it will go and break the satellite. It will destruct the satellite. So kinetically the satellite can be brought using the missile. But even using the missile, if you are able to block the communication of the satellite, if cyber attack is being done on the satellites and everything, all the system of the satellite is being hanged, right? If jamming is being done using the lasers and other kinds of things, if pallet clouds are done, means pallet clouds are the artificial clouds which will be there so that the satellites will not be able to look at you. So if that is being done, that will also be called as the ASAT. So both kinetic as well as the non-kinetic capability will be there. So it will include the cyber destruction, EMP devices, laser weapons and the targeted missiles to hinder the enemy's operation, because the enemy must be seeing you using the satellite and you don't want that. So what is the option? Either you launch the rocket and you destroy the satellite, or you hang that satellite itself, so that there will not be any kind of information that will be leaking from that satellite and the other enemy country will not be getting. So both kinds of things will be there. So there are only 4 countries in the world who has this ASAT technology, that is what? USA, Russia, China, and 4th is India. So there are only 4 countries. And the one important concern regarding ASAT is that, see, if you are launching a missile and that means breaks the satellite, that destructs the satellite, so the pieces of the satellite that will keep on floating, right, that will keep on floating in the orbits continuously, isn't it? So that is a problem. It will create lots of space debris, right? Now there has been lots of schemes also going on. Several countries are coming up to clean up the space debris. For example, Japan has put lots of initiative regarding this, but this is a concern. So it is threatening the civilian and the commercial satellites and endangering the long-term orbital safety. For example, let's see, this is Earth. Many satellites are orbiting around this. You now using the ASAT, you have hit a satellite. Now its pieces are broken. They are randomly moving. So they may get hit with another satellite, which was a good satellite, which was a civilian satellite, which was a commercial satellite. So that will also get destroyed, isn't it? So that is a concern regarding this. So India has already done a test for this, and it will hit the low Earth orbit, that is up to the 300 kilometers. Right, those satellites which is revolving around the Earth up to 300 kilometers. So that kind of satellites can be hit. That kind of satellites can be done. So India has already launched anti-satellites using the Abdul Kalam Island launch pad in Odisha. Now solve this question. With reference to the anti-satellite weapon, consider the following statements. The ASAT weapon can be either kinetic or non-kinetic in nature, including the methods such as the cyber attacks, laser attacks. This is very important. Now if you do not know the fact, if you have not already studied about the ASAT, how is that you will be able to guess it? Kinetic and non-kinetic kind of things. Your concept have to clear. Then only 3 countries have demonstrated operational ASAT capabilities, including India. So it is not only 3, now it is 4. So USA, Russia, China and India. So this is wrong. And the use of the ASAT system raises concern about the generating space debris which can endanger the civilian and commercial satellites. So that is very much possible. So 1 and 3 is the correct answer. So only 2 will be the answer. Now, Energy Charter Treaty. Now, this treaty, if you read the language of this treaty, it is also very confusing. See, during the 1990s, this was a time when there was not much environmental awareness was there, right? So at that point of time, several countries came together and they signed a treaty, that was the Energy Charter Treaty. Why they signed? Because the energy requirement was huge and the countries was not getting enough energy. Therefore, they signed this treaty that whatever the company they want to come and they want to invest in their country, that is fine. So, if the company from the France, they want to go to UK and they want to establish some thermal power plant to generate the energy, that is fine. So, those energy were generated using what? Fossil fuels, right? So, these things were, there were not environmental related things, were not very much in the fashion. It was not very, the people were not aware about the environment. So, any kind of energy they were willing that, okay, just generate energy. For that, energy charter treaty happened. So, no matter who you are, which country you are belonging to, which institution you are, come and you can do the installment, you can do the energy, so that more energy will be produced in the country, because energy is very much required for the development, right? But at that point of time, it was that the legal framework will be there, and for example, if there is France, right, and France has attracted a company A, which is from the Britain, right, and obviously under this energy treaty, France had said to the company A that you can produce fossil fuels energy, right? So company A will be producing that, but now France will say that, okay, now we are moving towards the climate friendly environment, so do not produce the fossil fuel energy. But the company already had done lots of investment, right? Lots of money has already been invested. The company will be facing, because of the France policy, because companies are facing lots of losses because of France policy. So in this scenario, the company A may tell the France government, okay, I have got this much billion of the losses, so you pay me that, I will stop producing the fossil fuels. And France government will have to pay that much amount to the company A. So whatever the losses they are having, this was there in the energy charter treaty. So whatever the losses, if the government changes their policy later on, so whatever the losses that company will be facing, that government will have to pay to that company, right? So now environmental things are going on, the green energy concepts are coming up, right? Environmental things are coming up. Therefore, these countries like the France, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, these kinds of countries are taking out from the energy charter, because they do not want energy from the fossil fuel now. They want to have the energy from the renewable sources, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, these kinds of things, right? Therefore, they are taking out from there. But in that respect, those companies which have been set up in their country, so they are facing lots of losses, and because of that losses, these kinds of countries have to pay for them. But this it remains for the next 20 years. Even if you come out of the treaty, for the next 20 years you have to pay. After that you will be free. So if currently they are coming out in 2024, so they will be free by 2044. So this is why this was in the news. I hope you have understood this. So legal framework was that it was investment protection was there, technological transfer were there to promote all these kinds of things. Energy charter was signed, and therefore investors protection was there, because investors is coming to generate profit, right? So these things was there, and therefore as these countries are moving towards the renewable sources, therefore they are trying to come out of this energy charter, because they do not want energy in any form, right? Solve this question, that is, which of the following are the main features of the energy charter? So it was established in 2001. So it was not, actually it was established in 1994, and you should also correct this, that is, this is 1994. So it was established in 1994. It came into operational in 1998. And treaty provides a legal framework for the energy cooperation, including the provisions on the investment protection. So that is correct. This one was wrong. It allows fossil fuel companies to sue government over climatic policies. So that is there. So those companies which were producing fossil fuels, now the policy has been changed by the government. So they will say that, okay, I will face, because of this policy change, I will face this much loss. So government should pay this much. That is there. ECT's scope includes trade, transit and efficiency. This is correct. So 2, 3, 4 will be the correct answer. another very important topic, that is the Subnational Climate Fund. First of all, tell me, what is subnational? At the national level, you will understand that this is at the government level, that is the national level, central level. It's at the India level, this is the national level. But subnational level means it will be at the state level, district level, that will be called as the subnational level. So Subnational Climate Fund is there. Now this is for what? This is for development of the mid-sized climate resilient infrastructure and nature based solution that has to be built. So what is there? It channels the investment into the Subnational Climate Fund infrastructure. So what is there? This fund will be provided to establish the climate friendly infrastructure that will be of mid-size, not very small, not very large, but mid-size climate friendly infrastructure will be built on what? Not at the subnational level, at the state level, at the district level. So that will be. Now one very important point is that the types of institutions which are involved and which are supporting these schemes. This is very important. For example, fund management is done by the Pegasus Capital. This is an institution. Then technical assistance is provided by the IUCN. Right, technical assistance will be provided by the IUCN, and that makes the very important, because IUCN itself is very important topic. Then the third thing is anchor investors will be Green Climate Fund. Now Green Climate Fund itself is very important. Therefore, because of the involvement of the IUCN and the Green Climate Fund, this Subnational Climate Fund is very important topic. Anytime it may appear in the exam. So government structure will be there, and such kinds of things, supports will be there from these kinds of organization, and subnational climate funds will be allocated so that in different states, in different countries, at the state level, at the district level, so these kinds of medium size of this infrastructure will be established, climate resilient infrastructure will be established, right? So that is there. So please solve this question. So SCF, with reference to the Subnational Climate Fund, consider the following. The SCF focuses on the developing of the mid-size climate resilient infrastructure. This is correct. The Green Fund serves as the anchor investor in contributing the consensus. So that is also correct. And the IUCN provides the technical assistance. That is also correct. So all the three statements are correct. So these are the 25 questions which were there in your test number 1. Beyond that, also we will be discussing some very important topics, and rest of the topics which will be left, that you can do on your own, because most important topics have already been covered. Now this was in the news. Pench Tiger Reserve. Pench Tiger Reserve, where it is? It is at the juncture of the Maharashtra and the Madhya Pradesh, right? So Maharashtra and the Madhya Pradesh. And why it was in the news? For the very interesting thing, that the Pench Tiger Reserve in Maharashtra has been designed as the India's first international dark sky park. India's first international. Whenever it is first, it becomes very important. It is India's first international dark sky park and the Asia's 5th. So in the Asia it will be 5th, and in the India it will be first. That will be in the Pench Tiger Reserve. Where is the Pench Tiger Reserve? It is at the location of at the junction of the Maharashtra and the Madhya Pradesh. That is in the part of the Satpura range. It is also a bird area. The more important fact over here is, what is this dark sky park? Now, if you have a telescope, right, and if you are living in a city where there are lots of light, right, it is already very much illuminated, will you be getting all the lights which are coming from the far stars or astronomical bodies? Obviously not, because there will be lots of interference of this lights which are coming from the artificial lights. So dark sky park, it is made in such a location which is far away from the urban area, So in that park, there will not be artificial light, right? there will only be the natural light which will be coming from the means astronomical bodies. So if in that location, if you put a telescope and if you try to see, you will see the original light which is coming from the far. It will not interfere with this urban area's light. Artificial light will not be interfering. Therefore, this dark sky part is there. So this night observatory, it is used for the night observatory established near the Bagali. It is idea for the astronomy. Those who believe in the astronomy and astronomical things, so they can see the things very much clearly without any kind of interference in this such kind of dark sky park. This is important. So over 100 street and community lights replaced and downward facing lights installed on the minimum light pollution, so that there will be minimum light pollution from the artificial light, because obviously in the forest or in this tiger reserve, you cannot be living in the dark region, right? Some light has to be there, but minimum light will be put so that there will be traveling and communication will be there, but that will not interfere like in the urban area, right? So therefore this dark sky park has been set up in the Pench Tiger Reserve. This has been the first time in India and 5th in the Asia. So I hope that is clear to you. Then another thing is Public Examination Bill 2024. This question has already been asked in the UPSC Mains 2024. So that you already know. So there has been lots of cheating going on, and therefore this Public Examination Act came, and under this act all the central government organizations like UPSC, SSC, RBI, RRB, so what kinds of examination they will be conducting, so that will be coming under this, and those persons who will be involved with the cheating and all, so they will be punished, right? There are separate kinds of punishments for those who are involved in the cheating, and those organizations who had got the responsibility to conduct the exam and they have been found cheating, right? So their licenses will be cancelled for the 4 years, then crore rupees fine will be there. So such kinds of things are there inside this, already asked in the Mains 2024. Then surrogacy rules have been changed. This was also in the rules. Surrogacy, you already know that there are 3 persons involved. So one is the surrogate couple, one is the intended couple, that is husband and wife, and they will be needing another female, that is a surrogate mother for that child, right? So surrogacy was there. Surrogacy in India has been now regulated using the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021, and under that it was said that both the husband and the wife, their gamete has to come compulsorily, male gamete and the female gamete, right? But that was very controversial thing, because many a times what may happen that the male sperm is not efficient enough to give birth to a baby, and or maybe that the female, this egg is not efficient. So in that scenario they will not be able to they will not be having the child in the natural process. Similarly, they will not be able to have the child using surrogacy also. So therefore this was very much in controversy, and therefore the government has changed its rule. Now it says that out of the husband and wife, at least one gamete should be coming from the couple, and one can be taken from the another person, from the donor. So that is there. So therefore this was in the news. For the surrogacy, I am quite sure that you must be knowing. Then the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sah Yojana is there. This is a sub scheme under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Yojana. So that is there, and this is essentially, whenever you are reading any scheme, few things you have to consider and few things you have to remember. What is the ministry which is running that? Then whether it is a centrally sponsored scheme or whether it is a central sector scheme, right? What is the main purpose, main feature of that? How that is distinguished from the other schemes? These 3 things you will have to remember. Only that is important. Only that is being asked by the UPSC. So these 3 things you will be remembering. In the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sah Yojana, so it is a central sector scheme, and as it is for the Matsya, using the Matsya is what? Fishery. So this is for formalizing the fishery sector. So what is the objective? There will be formalization of the fishery sector, because the fishery, you know that the 92% of our economy is unorganized sector. So these fishermen are unorganized. So there has to be organization of these fisheries, right? So therefore this is a scheme. Gradual formalization of the unorganized fishery sector will be there. Self-registration will be there. Enabling access to the institutional financing will be there. Micro and small enterprises will be there, and the providing one-time incentive for purchasing the aquaculture insurance. The aquaculture insurance will be there. Whenever things will be formalized, insurance will be there. For example, if you are working in a formal sector, for example, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, you will be getting some kind of medical insurance for you and your family, right? So that is there. So when formalization will be there, aquaculture insurance will also be there. Fund allocation will be there. Funding patterns are there. You can see that. Another important point is that the National Fishery Digital Platform will be there, which will be established to provide the 40 lakh small and micro enterprises with work-based digital identity. So that will be provided. Benefit will be formalized. It will formalize the fishery sector, which is very much informal in nature currently and unorganized in nature. Therefore, the fisherman is not getting enough benefit out of it. So that will be there. Aquaculture insurance will be there. Expanding the fish and the fishery product safety will be there, and it will strengthen the project management also. The rest of the facts also you can read. So overall, these were the important topics from the January and the February 2024, and we have discussed all. We have also discussed whole this test papers, right? So this was the first session of the workbook, session 1 of the current age prelims 2025. Every Saturday we will be doing this kind of session. So if you have not joined yet, please do join it. These kinds of sessions will be very much helpful for your preparation, right? The role of current affairs is huge. It's not only the 20 question which is directly coming from the current affairs, but it is actually 40 to 50 question which is indirectly coming from the current affairs. So when you will be doing that indirect portion also, do not simply dependent upon the static books. Static books will cover 45 to 50 questions only. Rest of the things you will have to take from the current affairs. Direct question as well as the indirect questions you will have to solve. Then only you will be clearing and you will not have any kind of doubt. So that is all from this session from the current age 2025. See you all in the next session. Thank you. Thank you very much.